Lets you hit limiter too. All right, you guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's a good day. As you guys can see in front of me, this is the 2022 Hyundai Veloster N DCT. If you guys remember, 2 years ago, actually wait, no, scratch that. 3 years ago, 2019, I drove the Veloster N with the 6-speed manual, brand new at the time, great car, incredibly surprised at actually how well that car handled, especially for the money, which is exactly what Hyundai's kind of aiming at. So here we have the 2022 model. This is the dual clutch version. Shooting Star matte gray on this car, which I'd imagine would be very easily scratchable. It hasn't been yet, as far as I can tell, but we're gonna go for a drive today. I'll show you what the Veloster N can do. I just picked this car up a couple of hours ago. I haven't really done too much hard driving, but there are a few different things on this car versus the standard 6-speed. And of course, Hyundai has actually stopped making all other versions of the Veloster. So the only Veloster you can get now is the Veloster N, which, as you can see, is a 3-door hatch. Or is it? Is it a 3-door hatch? No, just playing with you guys. If you guys remember, it's got this funky kind of third door here. So I guess it's a 4-door hatch. Kind of strange. We'll get to the visibility and all of the features in the full review, but what I figured is we just go for a nice afternoon drive. The weather was completely wrong today, and as you can see, it's actually quite dry out. It's later in the afternoon, so I almost promise you that we're gonna run into some traffic, but we'll try our best to get some spirited driving in. So what do we have here? Actually, Pirelli P0s, 235s all around. And of course that, I'm a bit colorblind. This to me is like a dark orange. I don't know, it may show up a red on camera, I'm not too sure, but gloss black grille, of course, aluminum block, aluminum head, 2-liter inline 4 under the hood. And it still actually has, which I find kind of odd, these blue seat belts here, the blue accent. The last one I drove was actually painted in this color here. All right, let's get in. Go for a drive, push button start there. That's music. That's copyright music. Okay, so we'll go through all of the drive modes once we get going, but I will begin in N mode, which is kind of like Hyundai's M mode. We will go into N mode, which puts everything in sport. So what we can see here is if we go to custom, we can see settings. You can actually change your settings depending on what you want, which is actually really cool. I've never seen anything like this. So you can put your engine in standard, sport, sport plus, how much lock or how aggressively you want the LSD to lock. Of course, you've got the infamous now N exhaust sound, and we'll hear that in a second. And then your ESC modes, you can increase your odds of spinning into a ditch, let's say. So that's kind of fun. And then suspension has 3 settings. So we'll start off in, well, actually I'm gonna start off in soft suspension setting, but everything else in pretty intense, and then ESC and sport. Give you guys a quick look on the outside so you guys can hear how it sounds on idle. Huge exhaust tips. 2 big exhaust tips, got this kind of plastic diffuser on here. It's very squatted down at the back. It has that slope, very aggressive slope on the rear end, which kind of makes me wonder about that rear seat room. Maybe we can get to that in the full review. Let me know if you guys enjoy these POV videos. I will continue to do them on a regular basis for interesting cars I drive. Absolutely. This is a quick second video for you. Veloster N makes 270 horsepower, 260 pound-feet of torque, front-wheel drive, which is good because it's able to actually keep the weight down versus something like, let's say, the Focus RS. But it does actually have an overboost function, which I'm incredibly excited to try out. On my drive home, I was like, what is this NGS button here? N grin shift. Grin shift. After Tesla began doing things like the ludicrous mode, it just kind of enabled and gave permission, I feel like, to other manufacturers to kind of do similar things, especially in naming structures and whatnot. So we'll actually take full advantage of that overboost for 20 seconds in a minute here. Torque steer, but the LSD's holding up quite nicely. There's some corners coming up, so what I'll probably do right here, after you see this gorgeous view, finally getting into spring here, we'll hit some corners. Little bit of wheel spin on the 1-2. Really wanted to spin there. Lets you hit limiter too. Wow, did I forget how incredibly capable this car is, how fun this car is to drive. It just, the power for dollar, the handling for dollar, grip for dollar here, it's really quite something else. Now in the full review, I'll go over kind of the sacrifices that Hyundai makes in other areas of the car, you know, to keep that price down, such as no wireless charging and a few other things, but there aren't many cars that can keep a solid G-force and to keep grip up without unsettling the car on those 4 last kind of tight corners there. Wow. Wow, just a lot of fun. Closer ratio gearing with the 8-speed dual clutch here than the 6-speed manual, of course. Great power for dollar. 270 horsepower is quite a bit here. Oh, what do we have here? Ghost? Phantom? Damn. Nice. That guy's just picking berries on his way home, I guess. That's the time you have to spare when you have a Rolls Royce. Meanwhile, here in the Veloster, we're in a rush. Hints of torque steer. The LSD makes quick work of that. Ooh, actually, this might be a great opportunity to do launch control. Good thing I remembered. I've never done launch control, so we will try and figure it out here. All right, so launch control apparently works in either ESC Sport or ESC Off. I've turned everything off, so we might get some spin depending on whether the LSD wants to cooperate. What's really cool is here in the N performance options, we can actually adjust the RPM at which our launch begins at. This is something I've only seen in either a standalone, like a Link, a Haltech, something like that, or a piggyback ECU setup where you can dial in either your two-step if you're running a big turbo on a Supra or something like that. But I've never seen this in an OEM vehicle. This is something that's, you know, Hyundai still got that youthful kind of fun characteristic coming through, at least in the Veloster N. It's the only N vehicle I've ever driven, so it lasts 5 minutes. We should be good to go here. Let's try it out. Stop right here. Don't mind me, traffic. Not an incredibly aggressive launch. Definitely pretty conservative on the amount of slip. There's no spin. It's not a, you know, if I was to put a GoPro the front tires, we would not see the tire sidewalls flexing very much on that. But once it gets going, it's good. Very, very controlled. That was fun. Aggressive upshifts at the top. There's a pretty big kick. It's a smooth kick. It's not something like a Lamborghini single clutch might feel like, but it absolutely has a kick to it. Alright you guys, well, there's a quick drive in the 2022 Hyundai Veloster N DCT. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, full review coming soon, but I figured I would give you guys a quick taste of what the Veloster N is like. I mean, if you couldn't capture from that short drive, it's fun. It's a lot of fun, very capable, especially for the money. So hit subscribe if you haven't already, the notification bell, that really helps me out. I've got some exciting videos coming up that you might want to watch. Hit me up on Instagram at Untraveled, and we'll see you next time.